Hello and welcome to Ask Auto Trader, where we answer all your burning questions. In studio with me today, I have Chad and Lawrence, and we are going to talk about 3 reasons why your car battery goes dead. What would you think?
Well, first off, in a number of older vehicles, late evening, you get home from work, you get out the car, you left your headlights on.
You got the most common one.
You left
on
your
your
headlights
first
on.
try.
There were a couple of auto manufacturers that got very clever, and they put a buzzer or an alarm. If you got out the car and left the headlights on, it would buzz.
Or they'd switch it off for you.
Or
And that
they'd
was
switch it off for
surprisingly
you.
enough the manufacturers that were known for the worst electrical systems, which were the Italians of
Yep.
the day. So the old Italian vehicles, as far back as the 70s, you kill the ignition, the car's dead. There's no lights, there's nothing. But then, yeah, it's
The
not
next
because
morning it would still be dead.
it would still be dead, but that's just because it's Italian.
So the first reason is there's a drain on the battery.
Yeah.
Now this could be the lights being left on or an electrical fault in the car which draws some current from the battery.
Radios as well.
Yeah, radios, amplifiers.
Radios, amplifiers, especially in the aftermarket systems. If you have a door that's not closed all the way and that interior light is still burning,
Yes, it
one,
can kill your battery overnight.
kill your battery, but that's also quite a big fire hazard, because if you ever climb into that vehicle and you feel one of those lights when that's happened, even if it's just been an hour or two, that thing's absolutely cooking. It can quite quickly melt that plastic. It's only meant to be on for a few seconds at a time. So.
But auto manufacturers have sort of circumvented that now, replacing most of your incandescent bulbs with LEDs.
With LEDs,
Yeah,
but
some cars actually have smart power management systems as well.
Yeah.
So if the car sees that, hang on, I haven't moved for the last 2 hours, but this light is on, it will start turning itself off as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first one, a drain on the battery. The second reason,
Inferior charging.
thank you.
Yeah, and this is usually down to the alternator. It's a poor regulator, so either undercharging or even overcharging.
Or
And that's
overcharging as
that's
well.
extremely dangerous
Yes,
because
the battery can
the
explode.
battery can actually explode. So if the alternator is faulty, whether it's something simple as the belt, poor fitment of the belt, whether it's the internals of the charging circuit, the regulator, something of the sorts, if it's not charging up, the car is running on the battery power alone. And that's just going to drain it. It's not getting its charge back up, and you just don't have the cold crank amps to get the car started again in the morning.
Now there's something else that factors in here as well. Poor battery connections, earth connections, specifically.
Even your chassis ground.
Yes, because as
Corrosion.
cars age, there's a little bit of corrosion that would sit in between the terminals and the chassis, or between the terminal and the
Doesn't
engine.
complete
And
the charging circuit.
And of course, very prevalent down at the coast where they sit with the saltier air
yes, rust.
and the higher humidity.
Yeah.
Up in Joburg, not as much an issue,
No,
but it still happens. Yeah.
From age about 6 years on,
Yeah.
I've seen this.
So would the same apply? And the same applies, I'm guessing, to the terminals. You sometimes get that sort of calcium buildup on the terminals.
Crusty.
That can also just, that can inadvertently end up draining the battery, or rather creating a poor connection that's going
Increasing
to
the system's resistance.
increasing the system's
That's it.
resistance and diminishing the effectiveness of the charging circuit.
Correct.
I would then move on to
Number 3.
which is the battery is just dead.
Yeah.
All car batteries, whether they are lead acid,
The fancy soak matte. or-
silver,
Yeah.
calcium,
Yeah.
cadmium, they all have a lifespan.
Yeah.
With lead acid batteries, I think it was 2 years from date of fitment.
Well, that was your warranty, and as with anything, you know that the week after that warranty expires, you're going
If
to
you
be
have
in
a
there asking for a
24-month
new one.
warranty, by month 25 you will replace your
You will be
battery.
replacing
It was
the battery.
basically, it's 2 years, that's the lifespan of a battery. I've had car batteries that lasted 6 months and they had a dead cell.
I've had some last 7-8 years.
Yeah,
and
comfortably.
likewise.
Currently
likewise.
the vehicle I've been on that same battery now for close to 6 years.
But that means that your charging circuit is working properly.
And it is, I'm a stickler for maintenance, so
There we go. So you check the battery with water.
I clean, well, it's a sealed battery, it's one of
Okay.
those
One of
silver
those.
calcium,
silver calcium
jobbies.
things.
So it's sealed. So there's no real maintenance to be done to the battery, but there is maintenance to the charging circuit. So I make sure that the alternator works, that the regulator is fine. I make sure that all the chassis grounds are clean, battery connections are clean, and basically just don't leave the car standing for too long.
Yeah.
It's a problem for motoring journalists. Our vehicles often stand 6 to 8 weeks at a time without being driven.
Anybody that does a lot of travelling for work, car parked at the airport, to that. I just want to add in, it sounds like to the viewers, they may be sitting there saying, but how do you check the alternator and the regulator? And I just wanted to add in there, it's not that difficult. A multimeter doesn't have to be an expensive
Just needs to
item.
give you a digital
$150
digital readout of the
Yeah.
voltage.
All you need to do is basically get the car, when the car's running, put the voltage across the battery and see, and it should be in the region of about 14 to 14 and a
Well,
half.
some
14.4.
cars run between 13, but generally the range is between 13 and 14.4 volts.
14.4 volts.
On
And,
charge.
and if you're getting that when the engine's running, then you know that the charging system is working.
Yeah.
If you're getting higher than that, you know that now you need to start looking at the charging system. If you're only getting 12 or, heaven forbid, something lower than
Something lower than that, that
then you
means
know
the
that
alternator is not charging for
alternator.
whatever reason.
for whatever reason, and it gives you an idea of where to start looking. So it really, it's not a lot of ingrained, expensive equipment required to do this type of maintenance.
Now to this, I just want to add one thing. You mentioned that a car that stands for a long time,
Yeah.
the battery does run down because of various factors. A, there will be some current drain on the car's and electrical system, no matter what. B, there's the internal resistance of the battery. Inside the battery, there's a light current
Yeah.
flowing between the positive and the negative terminals. And if you leave that for long enough, it will eventually deplete the charge in the battery. And as that happens, you get this sulfur deposits inside, sulfate deposits actually inside
Yeah.
the battery, which increases the battery's internal resistance. And once those things have formed, once those crystals have, well, crystallized on the battery plates,
There's nothing
There's
you can
nothing
do.
you can
yeah,
do.
you can't go back from that. And it's going to end up in a dead cell.
exactly.
And a dead cell actually just speeds up the whole process of
Yeah.
the deterioration.
because
of
then
the
it puts
battery.
extra load on the other cells and the whole thing just kind of snowballs from there. So there you have it. The 3 reasons why a battery could go dead.
Now, yeah, just off camera, a little bit of a tidbit. If you are storing a battery, you have to store it on wood. We haven't figured out why, but putting it on a concrete floor will deplete the charge.
Yeah, it's something
We
to
can't
do
tell you
with-
why.
It's something to do, I think, with temperature shock.
I haven't got a clue,
But
but
actually, no,
it's,
we
been,
don't know.
it's been proven. You
Yeah.
have to put it on wood.
Yeah.
For some odd reason,
Yeah.
you can't store a battery on a concrete floor.
So that's it for today. If you have any questions of your own, on our website, just click on the Ask Auto Trader button, leave your question. You might just see it answered here on camera.